On my 26th birthday, I was there. If you told me at the beginning of the 2003 season that the Giants would finish with at least 100 wins and win the National League Western Division by going wire to wire, I would have called you a lying scumbag. The Giants would have a new manager after Dusty Baker walked away. That would be the former Montreal Expos manager Felipe Alou returning to the Giants franchise after being traded 4 decades earlier. They lost their closer Rob Nen due to a torn rotator cuff that never healed and would force him to announce his retirement in 2005. For the most part, they had the same group that got them to the 2002 World Series. Some additions included Ray Durham and a former player of Felipe Alou's, Marquise Grissom. After being a part of the upset of the Giants in 2000, Edgardo Alfonso would join the 2002 NL champs in the offseason 2 years later. Even Andres Galarraga came back to the team after spending a year at his old stomping grounds in Montreal. Their pitching staff was somewhat intact. Kirk Reeder and Jason Schmidt were still there, but a couple of their longtime starters were gone before the season started. Russ Ortiz was traded to Atlanta. Livan Hernandez would be shipped off to the Expos. After Nen was gone, Tim Worrell, after an 8-2 record in 2002, would be promoted to the closer role. Barry Bonds was still there. In fact, he would accomplish a major league first in the 2003 season. He became the first player to hit 500 home runs and steal 500 bases in their career. I think this team would be good for another wild card or possibly win the Western Division again. But going wire to wire? That's crazy talk. The Giants opened the season 7-0, lost to the Padres, then won the next 6. They had a great opening month, 19-7, and a 4.5 game lead on Colorado in the division. Quick story, I was at the game on April 30th against the Chicago Cubs. It was great. My friend was given free tickets as an early birthday present to him. I knew that scalpers were on every corner near the ballpark buying or selling tickets. I made a blockbuster deal. I got a hold of a scalper and offered the tickets my friend had and a wad of cash in exchange for 2 left field bleacher seats, 5 rows from the action. It was like trading away cash and a player to be named later for a hot prospect. It was an amazing night, a 5-0 win in a game that ran shorter than the average ball game in 2023. Pitch clocks? What are those? Jason Schmidt earned a 3-hit complete game shutout and Barry Bonds hit 2 homers. Here, bask in the home run king's glory.
Bond, high, deep, it is out of here. $620 for Barry Bonds. 2-1. Bonds, high, deep, it is out of here. And we have a water shot.
May got a little shaky. Another 6-game winning streak extended the lead to 7 games. This time, we had a new car in the race. Our old friends, the Los Angeles Dodgers. However, in about 2 weeks after the Giants dropped 3 out of 4 against the Rockies, that 7-game lead was gone. But it was okay. A 5-game winning streak to enter the month of June, and they were back to a 4.5 game lead. I'll gloss over another game I went to when the AL Central Division leading Minnesota Twins came to town on June 4th. The Twins had the upper hand after 3 innings. An RBI double by Torrey Hunter in the first. With 1 out in the 3rd inning, Corey Koski hit an RBI single.
It's going to be a hit. And coming in to score is Despedy Guzman, and it's 2-0. Koski didn't hit it well, but he hit just enough of it to get the RBI single.
Doug Minkiewicz grounded out, but Koski marched home to give the Twins a 3-0 lead.
The step on first, he thought about coming home, but Koski got a good jump. So give an RBI to Minkiewicz, it's 3-0.
Then the Giants began to chip away. Barry Bonds got the Giants on the board with an RBI triple.
And over, he's not going to get it. And that may have cost him. Here comes Durham. Bonds is digging. He's going for 3. He can still run. He's going to make it. Easy.
Despite that, the Twins starting pitcher of that game, Brad Radke, was doing fine after 7 innings. Then he hit a buzzsaw in the bottom of the 8th. Jose Cruz Jr. led off with a single to right. Next, Marquise Grissom hit an RBI double to bring the Giants within one.
Up against the wall. Here comes Cruz. This is a 3-2 ball game. And it came on an 0-2 pitch.
J.C. Romero came in and faced one batter, giving up a single to Ray Durham.
And a base hit to right field. They're going to hold Grissom. And the Giants will have the runners at the corner with nobody out.
LaTroy Hawkins would try to stop the bleeding against Rich Aurelia.
Swinging a drive. Center field, Hunter on the move. He is not going to get it. And it bounces over the wall. This game is tied.
Sorry, no decision for you, Radke.
To Aurelia. How about that? How about that?
After Bonds was walked to load the bases, Hawkins was able to get out of the jam with no further damage. Tim Worrell came on and set the Twins down in order in the top of the ninth. Juan Rincon would try to hold off the Giants in the bottom half and maybe force extra innings. With one out, Cruz walked, Grissom struck out, but not before a wild pitch moved Cruz to second. Back-to-back walks for Durham and Aurelia would load the bases for... Yeah, walking him isn't an option here. There's only one thing you must do to stay alive.
Strike this mother out.
Swing a line drive, it's over! Cruz steps on home plate and this one goes to the Giants!
And you blew it! You blew it!
The month of June got a little rocky. The Giants were having a hard time stringing a long winning streak, but they weren't losing a lot either. A series at Dodger Stadium had the Dodgers taking 2 out of 3, but the Giants didn't lose the lead. It was the next 3-game series against their Crossbridge neighbors that would cost them the lead, right? Nope, they dropped 2 out of 3 to the A's, but the Dodgers weren't helping themselves either. In fact, the Dodgers would visit Pac Bell for another shot to seize the lead. Breathe easy, the Giants took 2 out of 3. While the Giants still couldn't get a winning streak longer than 3 going, they would be up by 5 games going into the All-Star break. By then, a new team was trying to catch them, the 2002 NL West champion Arizona Diamondbacks. In the second half of the season, the Giants kicked it into 6th gear, a 9-game winning streak, which included a 4-game sweep of the same D-backs that were trying to catch them. By the end of July, they were up by 12 games and there was no stopping this team. While they lost a little ground after a winless road trip through Queens and Montreal, they would win another series with Arizona going into September. Their lead was back to 12 games and the Dodgers were back in second place in the hopeless pursuit. Going into this game, the Giants were back in the groove of not stringing wins together. No problem. They were 10.5 games up, and with the Dodgers off on this night, the Giants would have a chance to reduce that magic number to clinch, which was already in the single digits. This would be the 3rd time I would go to a Giants game on my birthday. It would have been the 4th time, but, you know. So who was the next victim? The San Diego Padres. Well, the Giants shouldn't have a problem with them. After getting swept out the door by the Yankees in the 1998 World Series, they were an embarrassment of a club in their last days at ye olde Jack Murphy Stadium. 3 out of the next 5 seasons after their World Series appearance, they were dead last. The manager Bruce Bochy hung in there for reasons unknown. Tony Gwynn retired in 2001, and their longtime closer Trevor Hoffman wasn't available. But they did have a few players that went on to do great things after leaving the Padres. Shane Victorino got a start in San Diego. He'd win a couple of rings with Philly and Boston. Jason Bay won Rookie of the Year in 2004 with the Pirates. There was this young pitcher, Jake Peavy. He would win 2 straight World Series with 2 different teams in the 2010s. Xavier Nady, who went to high school about 35 minutes south of me, would sign with the Giants in 2012 and be on that comeback team that won the World Series. Former Giants closer Rod Beck would run out the last 2 years of his career with the Padres before he died in 2007. I think that's it. Shall I get to the starting pitchers for this game? Yeah, that would be a good idea. For the Padres, it was Brian Lawrence, an average pitcher who had a short career in the majors. His best season was in 2004 when the Padres opened their new ballpark, winning 15 games but still maintaining an ERA over 4. After getting traded to the Washington Nationals at the end of the 2005 season, Lawrence just couldn't get back into the majors. It wasn't until 2007 when he signed with the Mets and he started just 6 games, with a 1-2 record and an ERA a shade below 7. After that, he still couldn't get back to the majors. He even signed with the Giants in 2011, only to be red tagged before the season started. While he signed with the Angels after the Giants cut him, Lawrence retired a couple of months later. Starting for the Giants was old Woody himself, Kirk Reeder. Reeder did alright in the 2003 season, won about 10 games and his ERA went up a bit. This was the period of the timeline where Reeder would be at the end of his career. In the entire Giants pitching rotation for 2003, Reeder and Schmidt were the best two on it. I think the Giants stayed far ahead because their bullpen took care of the rest. That 3.73 team ERA was one of the lowest in baseball. We'll pick this up in the bottom of the first. With one out, JT Snow would make this a really long night for Lawrence.
Snow to center field, a good ride. Matthews on the move. Matthews on the move. Out of here! 1-0 Giants, home run number 8 for JT Snow.
Oh, we're not done yet. With 2 outs, Barry Bonds would take another step to catching the Say Hey kid in the career home run department.
Lawrence to Bonds, swing and a drive to left. Hit well. This one is way back. Out of here! 6-5-5 for Barry Bonds. And the Giants lead 2-0.
To the top of the second, the Padres would at least try. A leadoff single by Phil Nevin and Gary Matthews Jr. would reach on an error. Up next, Brian Buchanan.
Cut. Cruz back. Cruz back. Cruz off his glove. And they're going to wave in Nevin. And Durham will not throw. It'll be an RBI single for Buchanan. Cruz with a fine effort, as always, in right field. It's 2-1.
Nothing to worry about. Reeder set down the next 3 batters. In the bottom half of the second, the Giants got another rally going. Marquise Grissom and Benito Santiago led off with back-to-back singles. Jose Cruz reached on a fielder's choice after Grissom was forced out at second. Maybe Reeder can lay down a bunt to move the runners over.
Keep that shortstop back.
There's the bunt. This is a very good one. Lawrence's throw down the right field line. Santiago scored. Here comes Cruz. The throw, not in time.
No wonder why this team was a division doormat that year. Good thing for Lawrence, this was all the pain he would endure this inning. In the third, nothing happening. Lawrence even got Santiago to hit into an inning-ending double play. In the top of the fourth, Nevin would lead off again with a double. 2 strikeouts later, Gary Bennett would bring the Padres closer. Wait, what? Bring the Padres closer?
Center field, Grissom broke back, now in, can't make up for it, and coming in to score is Nevin, and it's a 4-2 game.
It's cool. After another single by Khalil Green, Reeder got Lawrence to ground out to end the inning. The Giants were looking to rally in the fourth. The bases were loaded with 1 out. But Lawrence got out of the jam after JT Snow reached on a fielder's choice and Rich Aurelia lined out to right. Top of the fifth. With 1 out, Mark Loretta hit a double to left. Brian Giles would ground out to move Loretta over. Reeder would again be bested by Nevin.
And he hits a rocket to right field, a base hit. He's 3 for 3, and he knocks in this run. It's a 4-3 ball game.
Are you okay over there, Kirk? The Padres are within 1 run, you know. A single by Matthews followed, but Reeder would get Brian Buchanan to ground out. It's getting a little hairy now. Despite giving up back-to-back walks to Santiago and Edgardo Alfonso in the bottom of the fifth, Lawrence escaped with no damage. The top of the sixth was when I started to get a little irritated. With 1 out, Reeder walked Green, and that's when Felipe Alou had to get involved. Jim Brower would come on to pitch. Todd Sears would single to left. Facing Sean Burrows, Brower's first pitch went wild and then he walked Burrows to load the bases. Guys, this isn't funny. Loretta would hit a high one to Bonds.
Bonds, it's in the park. He'll make the catch. This will tie the game, and it's a 4-4 game.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The Giants let the Padres catch up. Jason Christensen would be called from the arm barn to try to keep the game tied. Let's just say after Brian Giles came to the plate, I was starting to get really pissed off.
Hammered. Cruz looking up off the wall. 2 runs are going to score. Giles is digging for three, and he's going to make it as Giles clears the bases. It's a 6-4 lead for the Padres.
These were the thoughts that were racing through my head. It's my birthday. I rarely come here. The Padres have been a dumpster fire all season. Why were the Giants losing to them? Christensen got Nevin to fly out to end the inning. Yeah, Woody had a hard time figuring out Nevin, so I'm surprised the Padres didn't add to the lead. Bottom of the 6th, Bruce Bochy went to the bullpen and brought in Brandon Villafuerte to pitch. With 1 out and Marvin Bernard on first, Snow hit a single to left. Aurelia flied out. With 2 outs, the Padres would bank on the force out. Bonds would be given first base because of course he would. Villafuerte would work a full count to Alfonso. Let's see where this goes.
Edgardo Alfonso. He walked him. How about that?
Not close.
Lawyer ball isn't pretty to begin a comeback, but it's a start. Matt Herges would pitch to the Giants in the top of the 7th and set down the Padres in order. Villafuerte would pitch another inning for the Padres. Despite giving up a pinch hit single to Andres Galarraga, he would keep the Giants off the board. Scott Air would pitch for the Giants and give up a leadoff walk to Green to start the 8th inning. Green would move to second after a wild pitch with Sean Burrows at the plate. With 2 outs, Mark Loretta would try to add some insurance and, well...
Left field, Bonds coming in. That's a base hit. Coming in to score is Green. It's now 7-5.
I give up. Sure, bring in Joe Nathan so he can stop the bleeding. Kevin Walker would come on to pitch for the Padres in the bottom of the 8th. After a leadoff walk to Snow, Bochy went to the bullpen again. There's got to be some kind of rule for that. A 3-batter minimum, maybe? Anyway, the former Giant Jane Witasic would take the mound. After getting Aurelia to strike out, he would walk Bonds. Let's see what Alfonso can do. Maybe get a rally going.
Up the middle, that's a base hit. Here comes Snow. And it's 7-6.
Okay, they go to the 9th, down a run, and hold the Padres. They'll have a shot at it. Don't stop now. Maybe Santiago can help.
Runners go. Line drive, base hit. Here comes Bonds. He's going to score. This game is tied.
How about that at bat from Santiago?
Now we're talking. As I said, I'm all for going to the 9th tied and the Giants walking it off. After a Grissom fly out to right for the 2nd out, Felice tagged up to 3rd. Up next, Jose Cruz Jr. What do you have, Jay?
To the backstop. Here comes Felice.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable is right.
None of this has been pretty, but I'll sure take it. Let's go to the 9th. Tim Worrell would try to put the Padres out of their misery. He started off by striking out Matthews.
Sit down. Matthews still barking. He's gone.
Get out of here, you punk.
That was a quick hook. Ron Copeland did not want to hear it.
Oh look, Gary has something to say. Fast forward, 2 outs, Dave Hansen on first, Mark Kotze on second. This has been an entertaining night for sure. How about getting Keith Lockhart to ground out? Yeah, that's a good idea.
And the pitch to Lockhart. Swinging a bouncing ball, Felice. He has it. His throw to Snow. Ball game. So a deep breath from Tim Worrell is in the end. He gets the save. And the Giants, in game 1 of this 4-game series, a come-from-behind win with a little excitement in the 9th. And that's your final, 8-7. And now the magic number is down to 4.
You heard it from Kipe himself. The magic number to clinch the NL West was down to 4. 2 days later, with the Giants winning the next 2 and the Dodgers losing the next 2, the division was clinched before the week was out. The Giants won the division going wire to wire. Winning 100 games wasn't the best record in baseball. The Yankees and Braves each went 101 and 61. Sure, if the Mets weren't garbage and a blackout didn't happen in August, the Giants would have gotten 101 wins themselves. But who cares? The Giants were back in the postseason. This is where the second half of that 2003 Bay Area baseball double whammy comes in. In 1994, the Montreal Expos had the best record in baseball before the player strike ruined everything. As you may know, Felipe Alou was the manager of that team. Now he was managing a team that had done very well, 100 wins, and they would face the Florida Marlins in the NLDS. This is your time, Felipe. Get what you couldn't in '94. Jason Schmidt gave up 3 hits and a complete game shutout in a 2-0 win in Game 1. In Game 2, the Giants were doing well. They lit Brad Penny up for 4 runs in 4 innings. Then the Marlins bullpen would keep the Giants in check. Juan Pierre had a heck of a game with 3 RBIs, and Juan Encarnacion hit a homer as the Marlins evened the series with a 9-5 win. Game 3 at, what was it called then? That stadium had changed their name so many times the Athletics are green with envy. Anyway, Ivan Rodriguez had a 2-run blast in the first inning.
This one to left, back. Gone! 2-0 Marlins!
The Giants tied the game in the 6th. Jose Cruz Jr. beat out a 6-4-3 double play to put the Giants on the board.
6. The Marlins thought they turned it, but instead Bond scored.
Pedro Feliz hit a single to left and tied the game.
Tied.
Tony, you said it. He was looking for something in. It took a while to get it, but when he did, he was still ready for it.
The game would go to extra innings. In the top of the 11th, Alfonso put the Giants ahead with an RBI single.
A little looper off of Looper, and the Giants have the lead.
But in the bottom of the 11th, with 2 outs and the bases loaded, Pudge Rodriguez showed the Texas Rangers that he still had it.
Base hit to right. Here comes the tying run. And here comes the winning run.
Game 4. The Giants, with their backs against the wall, were in a deep hole. Down 5-1 going into the 6th inning. The team rallied hard in the 6th. Aurelia, Bonds, Alfonso, and Snow played small ball against Penny, and another solid ace on that team, Dontrell Willis. The game would be tied at 5 after that rally. In the bottom of the 8th, Miguel Cabrera would put the Marlins back on top with a 2-run single and would end up on 3rd.
Rodriguez rounding 3rd. Cruz throwing home. It comes through. He's safe. He scores. Here comes another run. Lee trying to score. He's in, standing up. They forgot all about him. 2 runs home. 7-5 Florida.
2 runs down, the Giants would have to figure out the Marlins closer, Ugueth Urbina. He was another cast-off from the Rangers in a trade that season. With 1 out, JT Snow would bring the Giants within 1, driving in Nefi Perez with a single.
Ground ball into right field, a base hit. Perez is going to be sent in, and Encarnacion will not throw, and it is now 7-6.
Urbina would get Feliz to strike out and Santiago to fly out. With runners on 1st and 2nd after Ray Durham got plunked, it was up to Jeffrey Hammonds to keep the Giants' season alive.
For 4.
Loop shot in the left. Here comes Conine. He can't get it. He's throwing home. Snow trying to score. The tag. A collision. He is out at home. And the Florida Marlins have cut down the Giants. The upset of the 2003 postseason. What a way to end it. On a collision at the plate, Pudge Rodriguez hangs on.
Snow, what are you doing? You had Aurelia on deck. He was part of that 4-run rally in the 6th. Way to go, guys. Just like in 2000, you won the division in a runaway and your World Series ambitions are crushed in a week. As for Felipe Alou, this would be his only playoff appearance as a manager. History would repeat itself in 2003. The Marlins would eliminate the Giants in the NLDS as the wildcard team and go on to win the World Series, just like they did in 1997. But the cure for those early 2000s postseason failures would come 7 years later.
For the Giants throws, swing and a miss, and that's it. The Giants, for the first time in 52 years, the Giants are world champions as they come pouring out of the dugout.
And a second time 2 years later.
Ramos. 2-2 pitch on the way. Cabrera takes strike 3 called. And the Giants have won the World Series in Detroit. And the celebration begins as the Giants mob the mound. Cabrera strikes out looking to end it.
Consider that revenge for 2003, Cabrera.
Trying to wrap up this World Series
for the Giants. He's ready.
Hold on, I think there's one more dose.
Swing and a pop-up. Side the ball down the line in foul ground. He's got plenty of room, and he's got it. And the Giants have won. They have won the World Series for the third time in 5 years.
This is why the 2003 NLDS never made my 10 most painful sports memories list.
World Series record books.
This entertaining game on my birthday was another great night out in a season of illusion when I was there on September 15th, 2003.
Robin Williams here. Giants leading 4-3 at the bottom of the 5th.
Robin going with the sideburn.
Yep. He could pull out just about any look.
Yeah, but he will always be Mrs. Doubtfire.